It's often an impossible balancing act for many Americans, foregoing food or draining savings accounts, all to afford life-saving medication. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. According to a survey released in 2024, more than 60% of Americans see the cost of their prescription medication as a burden. In order to afford medications, nearly 40% of survey respondents say they have taken actions that could harm their lifestyle and personal finances. A congressional report released in 2024 put some of the blame of soaring drug costs on the practices of major pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs.
They're known as healthcare middlemen and control which prescriptions insurance companies will cover, meaning sometimes what patients are able to take is in direct opposition to what a doctor thinks is best.
And that's frustrating too, because as you learn, if you go to these different insurance companies, they all have what they call their preferred list, and they don't match up.
Mike Phillips knows what it's like to get caught in this red tape. Doctors diagnosed him with psoriatic arthritis and found the right medication that got control of his symptoms.
It's a hit or miss, try different things and see what works type situation.
Until his family had to change insurance companies and he learned the drug that worked would no longer be covered unless he and his doctor proved his symptoms were not controlled by two of the new plan's preferred drugs.
They never gave me any medical justification for the switch whatsoever.
We spoke to healthcare experts who say they've seen hurdles like this firsthand.
Many have an additional frustration as their livelihoods suffer as a result of pharmacy benefit managers. That same congressional report found some independent pharmacies take financial losses in order to dispense life-saving medication. Critics say it's an unsustainable business model as locally owned pharmacies close across the country.
Reporter Tan Trung has an in-depth look at how one part of our healthcare system can have a perilous impact on patients and local pharmacists.
Here's the reality Stephen Cayuette is facing. He needs a certain medication to survive.
You see, Eliquis, you gotta take, it's a blood thinner, you gotta take it once in the morning, once in the evening. And if you stop taking it, you might die. You know, it's very important.
Cayuette says it's also very expensive. He's retired and on a fixed income.
From January to July, it's $45. From July to December, $145.
And we're talking per month then?
Per month.
Can you afford that?
Not really, but I gotta do what I gotta do.
Americans like Cayuette know the cost of healthcare has increased. What they may not know is how pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, fit into the pricing picture. According to research published in JAMA Health Forum, pharmacy benefit managers emerged in the late 1950s in response to demand for specialized management of prescription drug benefits. Today, 3 PBMs, CVS Caremark, Express Scripts, and OptumRx, control about 80% of prescription drug claims in the U.S. To understand how PBMs influence drug prices, we visited 2 independent pharmacies.
For anybody that doesn't know what a PBM is, how would you explain it to them?
It's basically a middleman that dictates what the consumer pays and what they pay the pharmacy.
Every year, they promise you that they're saving money. Healthcare, the cost of healthcare is going down, but instead you see the opposite. You see premiums go up, benefits go down. You're getting less coverage on your insurance for a higher premium.
Min Nguyen owns Willowbark Pharmacy in Chack Bay, a small town in Lafourche Parish. He says PBMs control the price for many prescription meds through a list of preferred drugs called the formulary.
Every year, it's a pay-to-play to be on their formulary. So whatever drug companies that pay the PBM the most rebate money, they get to be on that list. So if your doctor prescribes you a certain drug, and if it's not on that preferred list, then it'll probably be almost impossible to get the drug you want. You have to use one of their drugs that's on the list.
Nguyen says those drugs on the PBM list are often more expensive brand names instead of less expensive generics. Ella Vasquez is the owner of DBS Pharmacy in Metairie. StatsQuest says PBMs are crushing independent pharmacists by steering people to the pharmacies, mail orders, and list of brand name drugs the PBMs prefer.
A lot of the people think the pharmacy make money if you dispense expensive medicine, but it's actually the opposite.
Are you in danger of closing your doors because of PBMs? Like, is it putting that much pressure on your business?
I think everybody is in the same boat. That's all I can say. Everybody is in the same boat.
It's not about patient care. It's about money for them. It's pure greed, that's what it is.
Former Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry sued 3 drug makers and the big 3 PBMs, accusing them of inflating insulin prices for claims made through Louisiana Medicaid. The Federal Trade Commission filed a similar lawsuit against the big 3, alleging they used a, quote, perverse drug rebate system, forcing patients to pay more for life-saving insulin as PBMs made millions in profits. The FTC's lawsuit comes after its 2-year examination of PBMs. It found PBMs operate in such a complicated and covert way that they're able to charge outrageous drug prices without much pushback.
A prostate cancer drug that costs about $200 for a pharmacy on average to acquire that drug. What we saw in our PBM study, as we reviewed their data, was that they are turning around and charging $6,000 for that drug.
Express Scripts sued the FTC over the report, claiming it was false and misleading. The big 3 have denied allegations made in the FTC's insulin lawsuit. Regardless of who's to blame, those prices are forcing tough choices for people like Steve and Cayuette.
I just gotta take the wallet and buy less groceries if you got it. You gotta do what you gotta do.
We reached out to CVS Caremark, Express Scripts, and OptumRx for comment, but did not get a reply. In 2024, the National Community Pharmacists Association released a survey of about 10,000 independent pharmacies. It found more than half of pharmacies do not get enough reimbursement money from PBMs for at least 3 in 10 prescriptions they fill. In New Orleans, I'm Tom Trong.